Alright, so I am back, and today I'm going to do another rant of the week, and this is going to be, like last week I did the top 10 upgrades I'd like to see. This is top 10 third-party figures I'd like to see. I feel like I've done this before, or something along these lines before, but I'm going to do it again, because it's fun to talk about. You know, whatever. So these are the figures that I want to see get made. Some of them are complete total pipe dreams. I know that going into this conversation, but it would still be nice to be able to get certain figures. Like I said, some of these companies are gone. So it's like, yeah, we're not going to see these things. But again, one can only hope. Hope and dream. Or maybe somebody can pick up where that company left off or something, who knows. And one thing I won't really be getting too into, I've got it on here once, is masterpiece figures. Just because of the fact that it's like all the masterpiece figures are either made, in the process of being made, or they're probably on somebody's work table, if not 4 different companies' work table. So that's where I kind of like I don't really know, and it's like we know they're all going to happen at some point. It's just a matter of time. So it's not like, oh man, I really need it. Like. It's like if it was a year ago, I'd be saying I would love to see a Galvatron, MP Galvatron, but it's done. Cyclonus is on the way. Scourge is done, and I think he's on the way. Galvatron's he's done, and there's 2 more on the way, and who knows if Takara's going to do one too. I'm sure they will. It's just kind of like the only thing that's like masterpiece-wise that we don't know we're getting everything of is the Beast Wars stuff. But I mean, we're getting another MP Prime from Toy World. So it's like we've got MP01, MP10, MPP10, Toy World, Spark Toys Prime, which I got for a friend. It's sitting over here. I really want to open it. I really want to crack that thing open. So it's just like there's so much stuff going on with MP that it's like, it's just like it's gonna happen for the most part. So a lot of this is more in the chug scale, or those thereabouts or whatever. I do have one honorable mention, and that's Impossible Toys to reissues the Quintessons. Again, like I said going into this, I know they're dead. They're gone. But maybe they could sell the molds to somebody, and somebody else can crank out some nice reissues of them. Because that's something that they were one of the earlier companies. And a lot of people now look at those like, man, I wish I would have got those when I had the chance. Because at one point they were dirt cheap. But a lot of people skipped on because they didn't want to go into third party, or because they're like, oh, these things are crap quality, which some of them were. And so a lot of people missed out on them. Collectors are getting into it now are like, oh man, those Quintessons look nice, but I don't want to spend $200 on the Judge. And, some people might want to buy 2 or 3 of them. So it'd be nice to get a reissue of those, and maybe some of their other stuff. If maybe we can get a different company on board to do a little higher quality, like the Alicons would have been nice. They're decent. They're not great, but they could have been done better. So yeah, I think that would be pretty cool to see. Alright, number 1. Fans Project Dinobots. They need to finish it. They need to finish it now. They need to get done with it and move on to another project. And that goes into my number 2 as well, which is Fans Project Headmasters. They need to finish these things. It's no longer they should probably finish it now. It's they need to get done, and they need to move on, because no one's getting any younger here. And they're quickly putting them the whole company into a no longer relevant state, in my mind. And I know we've talked about Fans Project in the past recently, but it's just, they've got 4 of the Dinobots done. They are planning on doing the female Velociraptor and then Snarl. They need to skip the female Velociraptor for a moment, finish Snarl, then they can make whatever Dinobot they want to after that. But they need to finish the set. It has to be done. It's got to get done. And it's no longer a, they should probably finish this soon. They have to get it done right now. I mean, they were, let's see, Planet X made Swoop first, and it took them a very long time before they were able to go to the next Dinobot. But Planet X got their Dinobot out first. Then Fans Project got a couple of theirs out. Quality was but I'm happy with them. I like them. And then Planet X started making more of their Dinobots. Then Toy World started making Dinobots. And then G Creation started making Dinobots. And now we're sitting with Planet X finished. And they've actually made a 6th member, too. Toy World is done, and they're doing recolors of some of them. Or at least of the Swoop. G Creations, I think, has 1 left to do. And Fans Project, we haven't seen anything from them. I think their Grimlock came out just a couple months back. And before that was Swoop, which I know came out over a year ago. Yeah, over a year ago. It's taken them a year to get out 1 more Dinobot. That is getting to the point of, like I said, they're losing all relevance. Not just for the Dinobots, but as a company. I think it's going to hurt their reputation. If who wants to start a set that's like, okay, these are, it's like Gigapower. Gigapower's did a great job with their Snarl. I thought he was in my mind, he's a little bit better than the Fanstoys one. And he was bigger and just nicer. He had some QC issues, but I was able to get past those. But they're in the same boat the Fans Projects are in with their dinos. It's just like, if they can only get 1 figure out a year, how many people are willing to sit here for 5 years waiting for the Dinobots to get done when there's already complete sets? I mean, I could start G Creation. I could start a G Creation collection, and know that it will be done before the Fans Project one's done. I've already got the Toy World one. I could go get the Planet X one, and Fans Project still wouldn't be done. It's just like, it's taking too long. Same goes with the Headmasters, which is, like I said, is number 2. They're now getting into the point of, again, just irrelevant. Yes, their Headmasters, the one I played with, I loved. I loved their Chrome Dome. I thought he was a little overrated, but he was still a great figure. I love their Brainstorm. That thing was just awesome. I love their Mind Wipe. I thought he was pretty good. I don't think I got any of the other ones. How many others have they done? I don't think many. But it's just like, I love them. They're great figures. They're a lot of fun to play with. Good quality. Great for chug scales. It's got that enough of the G1 design, but enough of the Neo design that makes them look fresh and interesting. I thought they were great, but at the same time, Hasbro's starting to do the Headmasters now with the Titans Return. And they will be done with their entire set within a year. That's almost a guarantee, and that's all of them, all the headmasters that were in the G1 cartoon. I don't know about the headmasters cartoon, but at least in the American G1 season 4, where they had the headmasters and target masters, I know they will be done with the headmasters. Holy crap! I just realized a lot of the target masters are getting made into headmasters. Okay, I see what they did there. Anyway, but the point is again, they're just losing relevance because all the people that like to buy the high-end chug collectors are moving on to MP, where there's Make Toys who are steadily churning out headmasters. Not a quick pace, but it's a steady pace. So we're good. You're gonna get all of those there. And then those that still collect chug are gonna start having the same debate as the Dinobots. It's just, why should I spend all this time and all this extra money for these headmasters from Fans Project when I know Hasbro's right there and they're gonna be done within a year, and they may not be as great as the Fans Project one, but I can have the whole set. Me personally, I was never a headmaster fan. I never liked much of it. It's a cool concept and stuff, but it's never something that I really sat there and said, man, I really want the headmasters. It never really dawned on me. I thought that everyone should finish the season 1, 2, and 3 cast before they moved on to season 4. But so being now back into a chug collection, I would sit here and honestly sit and debate whether or not it's like, do I really want the expensive Fans Project headmasters of figures that I don't like or that I don't care about, or of characters I don't care about? Yeah, the figure's great, but I don't care about the character. Or should I just go spend $100 and buy a dozen Hasbro Deluxes and knock out the whole collection in one go? That's something I think about. So again, they're losing relevance not only with their line, but as a company, because if they're spending all their time and energy making these kind of things, when they should be moving on, they're just circling the drain. So yeah. All right. Number 3, Fanstoys Dinobots. And I know they're almost done with their Dinobots. Grimlock's coming out at the end of the year, which is great, awesome, and I know a lot of people are excited. But they're also redoing Scoria, and from the rumor is that it doesn't have any die cast, and it's going to be about $130. And if that's all true, I would like them to redo the rest of their Dinobots. No die cast, with a much cheaper price point. Keep it all in between $100 and $130, depending on the figure, and try and knock them out real quick. Simplify them if they have to or something, and just, like I said, knock them out. I think that would be a great option because I know a lot of people that would love to get the Fans Toys Dinobots, but at $200 a piece, we're talking Takara Seekers, Takara Seeker price points. That's just crazy for Dinobots. Sarcasm there, because the Dinobots are like twice as much plastic as the MP Seekers. That's ridiculous. Yeah, people say that third-party prices are not compatible with MP prices. Yeah. Obviously, I haven't bought Takara Seekers. But my point is that if they did that cheap, I know I would be buying myself a set. At $200 a piece, I can't sit here and be like, okay, yeah, I want that. The Gigapower, $200 a piece, yeah, maybe. But, it's like I'm chug collecting again, and I don't know if, MP-sized Dinobots is really my cup of tea at the moment. But like I said, at $130, hell yes. I'd find a way to put them in somewhere or on their own shelf and call it a day. I'd figure something out. So yeah, I really think that they should do that. They have a tendency of not following through with what they've said that they're doing, so who knows? I still think they should have finished their Soundwave. Or maybe go back and do the Soundwave now. And I really wish they would have downsized their Quake Blast or Quake Wave, like they said they were going to. I thought that would have been a great idea. But no, whatever. All right, number 4. Again, this is a pipe dream because I know iGear is out of commission, but I would like to see them do some more of the iGear Raptors. The rumor is that some of the iGear guys went to like Toy World and some went to TFC, I think. But wherever they ended up, they could probably bring the molds of the Raptors with them. And I would love to get like the Rainmakers, for example. I think that would be really awesome if they did the Rainmakers with the Raptor mold. Or I know some people would like to see the what were they? The Predators. Out of those molds. I, for one, would think I could think of a couple little G2 Cyberjets that I would love to see made out of the mold. I mean, that would be so cool to get like Hooligan out of the iGear Raptor mold. So, like I said, I know they're out of commission, but I think that would be cool if they would be able to, crank out a few more of those. I think they definitely had a good run there with that, and it's sad that was the last thing that they did, because it was such a good product, and just to drop off the face of the earth afterwards. All right, number 5, I would like to see MMC revisit the Hearts of Steel line. Now that they've grown from a their first release was that Hearts of Steel Optimus which was pretty close to garbage. And they've grown into one of the best third-party companies out there, if not the best third-party. That's all subjective on what you guys think of what is your best. I would say they are easily top 3, if not top 2. No, they're number 1. I'd say number 1. MMC number 1. So it would be cool if they were able to revisit the Hearts of Steel. Maybe I'm not sitting here saying like, oh yeah, reissue everything or make out an entire line, but maybe every now and then pop out another Hearts of Steel. I know they had plans for the Insectatrain. I would love to see them finish the Insectatrain. That would have been cool. Or something along those lines. Just do something. I know it wasn't the most popular line, but now that the company has grown to the point where they are, they have a name now. It's like, when you do your first few releases, like let's talk MMC, it's like, oh yeah, they did the Optimus, which, got repainted 3 or 4 times, and people are like, yeah, it's kind of cool. It's a different concept, it's all right. And then they did the Seekers, was it? Yeah, I think the Seekers came out. No, Cyclops. Their Shockwave. And then the Seekers came out. And, at that point, everyone's kind of like, at the same time, and then it's just kind of like, yeah, whatever. And then they dropped the bomb of the Hexatron, followed by the Predacons. And now it's like, now they have people who are like, okay, anything that this company makes, I'm going to buy. So now that they've got that kind of fan following, every now and then throwing out another Hearts of Steel, I think would be a pretty cool idea. I definitely would be on board. The reason why I didn't keep the Hearts of Steel stuff that I had was because it was clear that they're not going to make any more of them. So I was like, eh. But it would have been nice if they did. All right, number 6, Toy World Scorpionok. They did their Fortress Maximus not that long ago, which I loved that figure. I absolutely thought that thing was awesome. It was small. But it was still pretty hefty. It's a large chug figure. I think he's about MP10 scale, if I remember correctly. Awesome. I thought he was a blast. Great quality, and just fun to play with. And that's a critical part of that kind of of collecting toys. It's just having something that's it's fun. It was cool, it was fun, but they didn't make a Scorpionok to go with it. I would love them to make a Scorpionok the same scale, and this is where Toy World really sucks, is making things in the same scale. But if they would make a Scorpionok in the same scale as that Fortress Maximus, man, I would be happy. I would be really happy. I'm selling stuff on eBay. You can hear it going crazy over there. But I would just absolutely love that. That would just be such a good looking Scorpionok if they did it just like the G1 figure, but did it in that scale with that kind of posability. I would be happy. I would be really happy. Right now, that's one of the problems with Fortress Maximus and Scorpionok is there's nothing out there that really are in the same scale or design. We're getting the Titan Return Fortress Maximus from Hasbro, who is 2 feet tall. But there's no Scorpionok to go with them. Maybe they'll do a Scorpionok, maybe they won't. If they do, it's going to be a few years down the line. There is the Make Toys Scorpionok that just came out, which doesn't look anything like the G1 design, aside from slightly resemble a purple and green scorpion. Not saying that that's a bad thing, I'm just saying that it doesn't look like the G1 design. So that's one of the things that's keeping me from that. It's like, it's a little too Neo for my taste. But he's like, what, about a foot tall? So he's going to be too small to really compete with the Hasbro Fortress Maximus, and completely different designs. Then you got Warden, who's the head of the G1 Fortress Maximus, so he's that just doesn't work. I mean, it's a great figure, but it just doesn't work. And then you've got the Toy World one, which is too small to go up against the Make Toys one. And then you got the Make Toys. They said they're going to do the Fortress Maximus, but I mean, look how long it took them to get Scorpionok out from when they announced Utopia. So we're looking years down the road for that. And I get that. It takes them a while to do things, so I get that. But it's like there's nothing now. The closest that we have would be the if you were to get the Titans Return Fortress Maximus, and then get that superposable but not transformable Scorpionok from the official licensed third-party company. I can't remember what it was, but it was officially licensed Scorpionok through a different company. It wasn't Hasbro Takara, but it doesn't transform. So that's really the only options you have to get two that look good and about the same scale. So I think if Toy World would do it, that'd be great. If not, Perfect Effect do it. So in the original cartoon, Scorpionok and Fortress Maximus were about the same size. Logistically, that doesn't make sense to me because Scorpionok was a headmaster. Yeah, he was a big headmaster, but he was still just a headmaster. Whereas Fortress Maximus is a double headmaster, so he would be bigger than Scorponok. Also, if you look at the toys, Fortress Maximus was about twice the size of Scorponok, in the G1 style. So there's no. I think he should be smaller, a little bit than him. The same size would be great. A little bit smaller is acceptable. So I think if Perfect Effect made a big Scorponok in the same quality as their Warden figure, not their upgrade kits. So make him a little bit bigger than Warden. But that would be kind of cool because Warden is a headmaster. Yes, he turns into the head for Fortress Maximus, but he's just a headmaster. So it would be kind of cool to see him being able to square off with a larger Scorponok, who's just a headmaster. It would be nice to have the super huge one too, but it is what it is. I would accept that. I wouldn't be thrilled about it, but I'd accept it. But I think they should do it. Number 8, Mastermind Creation Vehicons. So we've gotten designs, sketches for Obsidian, and I think we've seen a prototype for Striker. So that's awesome. So we're getting an Obsidian and a Striker. And because their design is just right there where it needs to be for the Beast Machines, I would like them to do Jetstorm, Tankor, and Thrust as well. I would love to see all the Vehicons done by MMC. I would absolutely love that because MMC is one of those companies that it's just like they don't care about price point. You could tell that they don't care about the price point. They make the figure fit the scale that they want it to fit. So yeah, they're like if they make a Tankor, it might be an expensive figure, but it's going to be in the right size. It's not going to just be like, oh yeah, we'll just do something small real quick and throw it out for cheap. Yeah, they will make it the right size and then find the price appropriate to it. So I would love to see them do that. I've always been a Beast Wars fan. You guys know that. I'm actually a bigger Beast Wars fan than I am G1. So, just to remind everybody of that. So, by that standards, Beast Machines I like as much as I like G1. No, you know what? I like Beast Machines better than G1, to be completely honest. I like the fact that it was dark and gritty, and you had real stakes going on, and it was a continuation. If you watch it right, it's just like one big long movie. They did it so that it was just every episode was a continuation of the next episode. It wasn't like, this is episode where Megatron tries to steal the power from a dam. They stop him, and that's the end of the episode. And then in the next episode, he has to come up with a new plan that seems like the same plan, but it's a brand new plan. It was more of a like, okay, the ramifications from this episode are directly going to affect the next episode and the next episode and the next episode, and it's the way it was. Anyway, rambling on. I would love to see some updated Vehicons, and it would be cool if they were able to make like a Tankor that was like maybe ultra size or about the size of MP10, and then made some that are maybe Voyager size. For a little bit cheaper, and you could troop build them. I would like that. I would really like that. Yeah, I'd be a very small minority on that, but it's just the actual Beast Machines toy line is, like I've said before, is the worst toy line because nothing made any sense in that line. Figures were too small. Some figures were too big. Some figures just looked terrible, as some were so far off the reservation with their with their design, and you just sat there and scratch your head like, what the hell is this? Like, look at the original Beast Machines Optimus Primal, who is a deluxe class with clear blue plastic monkey, and then you look at the show and you're like, those aren't the same character at all. You know, it just, yeah. All right, number 9. A new long haul for Combiner Wars of Takara, Devastator. Yes, we've had so many upgrade kits, but they haven't fixed the real problem with the kit. Who is it? Dr. Wu, I believe, is making a new Mixmaster. It's like, okay. But Mixmaster doesn't look that good in bot mode, but he doesn't look as bad as long haul. And the real issue with Mixmaster was the foot, and Perfect Effect solved that problem with their little foot clamp. And I know there's another company that did that. So I know some people would like just a new Mixmaster, and that's okay. I get that. But the long haul, as I've said before, the Oompa Loompa of the bunch is just terrible. Absolutely terrible. He's the worst figure of that whole set. And if somebody were to make it like the Toy World one, where you have the stupid light, where you have this piece completely separate, and then you focus long haul on being long haul, we'd be talking about a really good long haul. You know, just do it just like this. You know, hell, you know, maybe somebody can KO this particular long haul in this piece, and just make it so that it would fit Combiner Wars, and then we have a contender for it. And then we have a contender for a really good one. And number 10, the last one, again, total pipe dream. Not going to happen. I know it's not going to happen. I just wish it would happen. Would be the iGear minibots. They started them in the regular chug scale. Then they moved up to closer to MP scale. I didn't really like that, and then their prices went up, and then they started painting them weird colors. I didn't like that either. But before the end there, they had teased prototypes of Bumblebee, a Cliff Jumper, Power Glide, which looked amazing, and a Wheelie that looked pretty good. So I would have loved it if they would have finished that set. I think they really should have finished that set. The main reason for me wanting them to finish that set is because there's a lot of companies out there that are making the Masterpiece minibots, but some people like myself who do not want to spend $80 for a beachcomber, would rather spend $30 for a beachcomber, who's about the same scale as that, and just the paint wasn't very good, but I'd still rather spend that than $80 for a beachcomber. I'm sorry, I'm not that big of a beachcomber fan. It's like some characters I would be willing to spend a little bit more money for a better quality figure, but I would have a hard time swallowing $80 for Beachcomber, or what was it, $60-something for Wheelie? We're talking $30 is my budget for a Wheelie. $30 tops. I'm very excited for the Titans Return Wheelie at $10. That's where Wheelie should be. It's like some characters do not deserve to be Masterpiece in my mind. And that's one of the problems that I was having with the Masterpiece collection. I've said this before, but it's just, I have a hard time buying figures that are like, I don't really care about this character. I don't. Beachcomber, Wheelie, Groove, Gears, Tailgate, not Groove. Well, yeah, Groove. And on and on and on. There's so many, you take most of the minibots, except for maybe Warpath and maybe Power Glide. Take all of them, and those are all the characters I would not spend more than $20 on. Right there. I mean, I don't want to spend $90 for any one of them. And then we look at, other ones. It's just, I have a hard time spending that kind of money sometimes. It's just, I sit there, it's like, I don't really want this. And then my mind starts thinking, like, for this Beachcomber, I can get all the aerial bots. And then that quickly turns into not even a question. Like, which would you rather have? 5 Hasbro figures that are hollow, or one Strangebot figure which is probably gonna fall apart on you. I mean, it's not even a question for me. I'll go with the hollow but won't fall apart rather than the fall apart Beachcomber. That's just me. Anyway, so yeah, there's my top 10 figures I would like to see from third-party companies. Third-party companies, not Hasbro. Next week we'll talk about Hasbro. Hasbro, Takara, stuff like that. So, what are you guys' thoughts? What figures do you think that companies should make or revisit, or, what have you? Is there a line that just has been completely neglected, like Machine Wars, that maybe you're a huge Machine Wars fan. Do you want to see Machine Wars be revisited? Because I would, because they're Cyberjets and Machine Wars. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of figures should be revisited, or all the lines should be revisited at some point. But those are my 10. What are your 10? And what do you think of my list?